In this episode, the nervous system pattern behind high-functioning burnout, why the first step to recovery isn't more conversation. You're still making decisions, still showing up, still answering the messages, and still completely empty inside. You've told yourself that's just how things are right now. It isn't. That is your nervous system running a protection pattern it learned long before this job, this pressure, this life existed. And most people who are caught in it, they never see it. I'm Billy Smith. I'm a qualified counsellor, and I use therapeutic photography specifically for people in that pattern, performing competently on the outside or running on empty underneath. So here is what that means for you. UK workers lose 17 million working days a year to stress, anxiety and depression. That is the NHS figure. But behind that number is a pattern I see consistently with high-functioning people. They don't look burned out. They look capable. They show up. They manage. And underneath that competence is a self-monitoring voice running constantly. Checking, scanning, quietly bracing for the next thing. Neuroscience tells us why this is happening. The body's threat response fires before conscious thought forms. Before your mind decides what that email means, your jaw has already tightened. Your shoulders have already lifted. The story comes afterwards. If you looked at your last 10 mornings, genuinely looked, would you notice a moment where you felt settled? Not productive, not just about managing. Settled. Most people pause a long time before answering that, because the honest answer is no. They wake already scanning. They move through the day already braced. That scanning, that micro-attention, is not personality. It's a nervous system pattern, and patterns can be interrupted. Here is what most burnout recovery advice misses. It tells you to rest more, sleep better, talk about it, reasonable things. But if your nervous system is activated, even slightly, those approaches keep you in the same loop. Because activation narrows your thinking, makes you more defended, more certain. And certainty under activation is not clarity. It is protection. You don't need more insight right now. You need the system to settle first. That is the correct sequence. This is where therapeutic photography becomes useful, not as art, not as a creative pursuit, as a mirror for your nervous system. 3 things the camera reveals that words never can. The first is your attention pattern. When your system is activated, your attention narrows. You notice edges, closed spaces, things at a distance. If you take a camera in that state, you will see it in the images. Tight framing, harsh contrast, subjects isolated. Notice what you're drawn to photograph this week. Not to judge it, to see it. The second is your window of tolerance. When you are genuinely calm, within your window of tolerance, something shifts. You notice light. The same street looks different. That is not a mood change. That is a regulated nervous system changing how you attend to the world. The camera shows you which state you're actually in, not the one you're telling yourself you're in. The third is the gap between the image and the story. You take a photograph, you look at it, and you notice the story your mind immediately places over it. That gap between what the lens saw and what your mind decided it meant is where your patterns live. That is the work, not insight forced through words. Awareness arrived at through looking, really looking. You're still here because something in that landed, not as information, but as recognition. That quiet, yeah, that is me. That feeling is not just self-awareness. It's your nervous system doing something different. You have been practicing the method for the last 6 minutes. What I have not covered yet, and what changes everything, is what happens when you take the camera outside. What the body does when you're moving, looking, attending without an agenda. That is in the next episode. If this feels like where you are, performing on the outside, running empty underneath, the next episode picks up exactly here. It's about what the camera finds when you take it outside. The link is in the description when it's live. slow down and keep looking.